So we'll keep moving along. We're going to discuss now some of the crane tools and things that can be done in the model. So I'll just hop back here into the model and change some of this representation. What we can do is we actually have the ability to insert a crane into the model and be able to move and manipulate it and do some other things. So I'll just go ahead and click on this crane console, and that will go ahead and just colorize the model for me automatically, and then brings up this console here. And then what I can do is come back to my component catalog, and I'll just search for crane, which will be included, and then I can just pick to locate this wherever I want in the project. So if I switch this to plan, again, another thing is that even if you just insert cranes, you can come in here, let me double click on this and pull up the properties. So here you can give it a specific name if you want to see the lift radius. You can define what the height and the radius is, how big you want the actual crane to be, the platform, the tower boom. You can define all that and everything in there. Then you can come in and save this. So if you have a standard crane system that you use, you can set up all of that. But the idea is being able to place it here in the model to optimize the use of this crane. It's incredibly expensive to have cranes out on site, and if you can strategically coordinate where the best places are to place them in the model, and then ultimately out on site, it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, and you'll be able to complete the project much quicker. So what we'll be able to do, I'm just going to come in and link the console here to this crane. There's a couple of different functions that you can do. Now that it's linked, I'll be able to rotate this left. I can also rotate it right however I want. I can actually adjust the height of it using these buttons. Then I can also define the specific radius using these as well. And then I can also lift it up or down. So you can play around with that, figure out you know what size you need, what's going to be the best layout for your site. And again, you're not limited. I'm just going to put one in here just for time, but I could put in 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. You're not limited to that. And then a couple things that we can generate from this is that dependent upon the radius, I can actually come in and produce a crane reach report. So if I just go ahead and hit yes, what this will do is that based on the radius of this crane, it will generate a report for me that will tell me which objects in the model it will be able to grab. So if we take a look at this, you'll be able to see all these different assembly marks. And again, if I switch this representation, let me just switch to 5. There we go. So then as I click through this, you can see all these different things highlighted in the model that it'll be able to go ahead and grab based on that radius. So be able to again plan the specific days that you'll be able to erect these based on how that crane is actually positioned.
Yeah, I mean, it should be noted as well, here's like a little caveat coming, that this is based on the proximity from the center. It's not based on any weight capacity of the crane. If the center of gravity is within the length of the boom, then it counts it. It may be that there's a heavy object at the full extent of the boom that it physically wouldn't be able to lift, but I'm afraid that's on you guys. That's we're not going to take responsibility for that yet. Yeah. But this is the physical reach. You can look down that list or even sort that list by weight, and then check that there's nothing too heavy at too far a reach for the crane. So just worthwhile noting that.
Yeah, great point. But what you'll be able to do just by putting these in, you'll be able to generate the reach report, and then with a 3D model, you'll be able to also identify, like Ian was just talking about, any of these erectability issues. That if you had a huge truss or a gravity column or something at the max radius of this, you'll be able to rethink that and reorganize that. But being able to visualize it in a model before a crane is ever out on site or something's in the air for you to find out that it's not going to work. Obviously, yeah, this will save you time and money to be able to automate that. So just doing a quick review back on the PowerPoint, being able to identify this, you can see the different types of interfaces. And again, you can download this off the extranet. Depending on what version you're running, some of this will actually be built into into the core Tekla. And be able to see here the reach report as well, that you can take that out on site, see what the weight, the length of the objects are, so that you can have we'll just scan that real quick and be able to visually see and understand what's going on.
Yeah, just a reminder, keep the questions coming in. We'll address one right now that's been asked by quite a few of you before we go any further. This is showing a tower crane. Is a crawler crane available? We've been playing around with it. We haven't really launched it yet, but because there is other things to consider, like the angle versus the reach, and perhaps you could bump into something with the boom when you're reaching too far. So we've got a few things to figure out with the crawler crane before we do a launch on that, but we've been playing around with it and testing it, so hopefully we'll get something out there soon.